Head over to BoardGamePrices.com to find the best price on Camel Up and thousands of other games. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today it's all about the Camels, racing around, trying to bet on them, trying to have the most money in the end. Now back in 2014, Camel Up came up under Z-Man Games and it won the Spiel Des Jahres, the biggest award in gaming as the best family game in German, but basically best family game. And now recently, just coming out right now, a new version of this is coming out. There's a lot of changes, not only artwork, the production, but even some gameplay changes. So I'm going to give you a quick 1-minute overview of how the game works. Then I'm going to go over the comparisons between the two editions, and then I'll sum it up on the other side. Camel Up is a family game for 3 to 8 players where these crazy camels are going to be stacking, moving around a board, and they're going to be moving them, rolling dice with this cool pyramid. No one person owns any of these camels. They're going to be racing around the board and everyone's going to be betting on who's going to win, lose, and be ahead at certain points throughout the race. Sometimes you'll be rolling a dice from the pyramid and moving a specific camel just like that. But if a camel is rolled and has people on it, it moves all the camels on top of them so stacks can move in interesting ways. Sometimes you'll be placing betting tiles so that when camels land on it, you'll be making money and you can influence the race, moving them ahead or behind. And sometimes you'll be making bets by taking these betting tiles, trying to make the most money if a certain camel's in first at certain parts of the game. The earlier you get the bets, the more money you'll make. The game has a cool pop-up palm tree and you'll also be betting secretly which camel you think's gonna win or lose the race. The faster you're right, the more money you'll make. This version has crazy camels that go in the wrong direction, so when they're moved, they actually can take camels above them in the wrong direction. And the game works well all the way up to 8 players because you can now bet with other players and make money when they do. And you're trying to have the most money at the end. Once any camel finishes, the one on top would win, and you'll see who has the most money at the end. So here's the 2 different boxes, the first edition and the second edition. Again, very cartoony here, which again fit this sort of family game-esque. But this one, wow, this one really captures me. I like this one a lot better. Just it looks a lot nicer, newer. Still looks like a family game though. I really like this. They're both the same sort of Ticket to Ride size box. So here is the board for the original game. It's sort of just a square, goes all the way around. Take a look at some of the artwork. I haven't put all the components on. I wanted you to see all the art on the board. Now, let me show you how the new board opens up because it's a really cool feature of that new board. Okay, here is the new board, and this is something I've never seen before, but I would love to see. It's like a pop-up book. Just like as you read one of those pop-up books, the palm trees come out. It just looks so cool on the table. And so here's the 2 boards, the original edition and the new edition. Obviously this board's a lot bigger. I think it's a lot nicer. Again, the artwork looks a lot nicer. Definitely kudos on this new board. Now here are the pyramids used to roll the dice. Now this is the original version. It's a lot larger and it was made of sort of cardboard. It had this little sort of rubber band thing. There were extra ones, but this could break like this. And the new one basically is all sort of one solid plastic piece. And you put the dice in and you put the top on, it snaps on just like that. Where this one you have to sort of open this up and throw all the dice in. Now one big difference here is this older one, you would roll it like this and you would have to hold it to the ground, go like that, and let one out like this. If you had kind of let it out and hold this, sometimes more than one die would fall out. So you had to kind of hold it like this and do that. Where this one, you can shake and you can hold it like, you know, hold the button and only one falls out, which is kind of cool because as you're rolling the dice, you can see what color it is as it drops. And then as it's spinning, everyone can see. So if you know there's a certain color that needs to come out, as it comes out, everyone gets excited, and then they're waiting for what that number is, and it adds actually a lot more excitement to the game as opposed to this. Also, now these dice are bigger. I like the size of these better, but these are actually sort of easier to see, being farther away on the table for some reason. But overall, even though it's smaller, I think the functionality is better, and adding that excitement of seeing the die come out, and as it's spinning around, figuring out what it's going to be, I think I like that a lot better. Okay, when it comes to money, here's the older edition. Has basically cardboard tokens for the money, but it also had these money cards, just making it easier to make change and things like that. Well, the new version did not have these money cards, and they're just sort of plastic coins, 1s and 5s. I actually like this better, the older version. For some reason, I just like the way that these look and feel better, and I definitely like this because with a lot of players, if you're playing with 7 or 8 players, you'll have to make change quite a lot in the game, and there's none of these bigger cards. I kind of wish they would have had those as well, so nod to the older version for the money. Here's the difference in the camels. The old version had sort of wooden camels. You can actually see the wood grain in some of these. These ones are sort of just a solid like plastic or resin or something like that. These ones actually are a little bit heavier and chunkier. They both stack about the same, just like that. Now, this is just a very personal preference. It probably doesn't matter either way. This is how they look when they're stacked. I kind of preferred seeing the wooden. I like the feel of the wood, and I like the grain of the wood better than the other ones, but maybe these ones were cheaper and easier to manufacture. But I do like the older ones better, but it's not a big thing. I could go either way. Some of the betting tiles in the game, the older version, we have one here for the yellow camel, and we have the little, the movement tile with the oasis. Same thing over here, a +1 and a yellow tile. I definitely like this artwork better. This might be actually graphically a little bit easier to kind of see. Comes in first, but it's fine. It looks good. I think I still like the artwork on this one better. And of course, when you flip this over, it went from an oasis to a mirage, -1. For this one, they're all cheering, and this one, they're booing, wearing red here, wearing green here. So that's about the same. I think on both of them, I kind of wish this face would have been a little bit bigger, because sometimes when it's on the board, it's hard to tell who that really is. Either way, it's probably neutral either way for me in this regard. And the betting cards for each player, you have a card here and the back side of one of those cards in the older version and the newer version here. And of course, for me, definitely this artwork is a lot nicer than sort of this one. Now there's two new mechanisms in this new version. One of them is betting partnerships. This is for when you're playing with 6 or more players. This player has a bunch of their betting cards. Let's say they bet on blue 5. And another player on their turn also think blue is going to win. They can take their handshake betting card and give it to this player. This player has to give them theirs. They're now in a bet share. At the end of the round, this player will make money if any of this player's tiles score. They'll get one tile that scores the highest, and vice versa. They're both each going to get the other player's highest score card. Now this is good because this allows people in larger player games to still get good bets even though there's a lot of players playing. Now this was part of the original expansion Super Cup of the first edition, but now it's in the base game and makes it great all the way up to 8 players. Also in this new edition is Crazy Camels. There's a white and black camel. There's a gray die that has both white and black on them. When that die is rolled, so only one of these Crazy Camels is going to move each leg. When they move, they go in the opposite direction. If there's a camel stacked, so this green one's going the correct direction, this white one's going the wrong direction, the green one is now on top. If this die gets rolled, it's actually going to take the camel backward. So it actually adds another layer of strategy and depth in the game. They don't always influence the race every game, but they can, and it does change strategies, and I really like this addition. All right, well, there is the Camel Up versions. Now, first, I'm just gonna give you a very brief, I already reviewed the game long ago, but I'm just gonna give you a very brief, quick review of what I thought of the game. When it first came out, the first time I played it, I did not like it. I just thought it was too random, sort of crazy, but the more and more I played it, the more and more I loved it. And even now, playing the new version, it's one of those things where I forgot how much I love this game. It is one of the best family games out there. It is just pure fun. Nothing can beat it for just pure fun. It's a great racing game. It's fun to bet. It has these stand-up moments where things that you never would imagine happen. Someone's way out in front and then someone ends up catching them that you would never imagine happen. People, lots of hooting and hollering and cheering. It's just a really fun time. But there are some probabilities of the situation. Trying to figure out what the best move to make. There are typically best moves once you know how the camels work and what might happen. And it's fun to play those easy probabilities out and see how they play out. And so it is just a great family game with a wide player count, especially with this version as I showed. You have the trading there, allows it to play all the way up to 8 players very well. And the game also tends to have some crazy endings as well, just like the unpredictability I talked about. Now, it might be a little too random for some, but if you're looking just for a pure fun family game, absolutely one of the best ones I have in my collection, period. It's just a blast. Now, let's talk about the in between them two. So art. And art is probably the most subjective thing, but I like the new art better. It just looked, the other one wasn't bad when it came out, sort of cartoony, which sort of fit because it was, a family game, but the new artwork I think just looks much more classy, but it still looks family-ish. So I really like the new artwork better. Production. The new pyramid I like a lot better. The old one was sort of flimsy. It was kind of weird. It had that weird elastic that sometimes would break. Also, when you rolled the dice, you had to put it down and push the button because more than one die would fall out. Where here you can hold the pyramid up and clunk, and just one die falls out. And it's really fun because everyone's like, what color's gonna come out? What color's gonna come out? And you do it, and as that die is spinning on the table, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it is green. Is it gonna be a 3? And it gives you time to sort of react as it's happening. So I like the new pyramid better. It's much more solid. I like how it pops the top off so you can put the dice easily back in it. So even though it's a little bit smaller and the dice are smaller, I like that part better. I also like the pop-up board. This is the first game I've ever seen that basically is like a pop-up book. You open the board and boom, this palm tree pops up. Nice little touch there. I hope more and more people see this and decide to start doing things like this on their boards too, because it really does add to the table presence of the game. Okay, now onto the production some more, the camels themselves. Now, the new version have these nice, they're a little bit heavier, they're chunkier, solid camels. I actually preferred the wooden camels better. I just think they looked better and they sort of felt better in my hands than the other ones, but that's sort of a very subjective thing, but I did like the older camels better. Production, one more time, we've got the coins and money. I actually preferred the cardboard coins and the money cards. So you had money for like $20 bills and stuff. Better than the new version. The new version had those little plastic coins, which are fine, but I actually tended to like the older ones better. They were easier to read, and they were just, in my opinion, I liked them better. Also, in the when you're playing with the 8 players, you almost get ready. You have to make a lot of change as people are running out of coins, where it would have been nice to have those money cards from the old version. So for the coins and money, I actually like the old version better. Gameplay. This is where the new version really takes the cake in everything. The new betting. So there's the partnerships. Now this was part of the Super Cup expansion for the original game. You get these betting partnerships. Now before this, playing 3 to 5 players was fine, but without this betting partnerships over 5 players, it just wasn't that fun because people would get the good bets and then it's just, well, I don't have any good choices, I guess I'll roll. Where now with those betting partnerships, it really allows this game out of the box, the base game, to play very well, all player counts, all the way up to 8. And again, it was available in the old expansion, but if you're trying to figure out which version to get, this new one, you have it right off the bat, allows you to play the game with a much wider play count. So a win there for the new version. Also, the crazy camels. Now, they don't always change the race, but the fact that they do sometimes, and just the fact that they can, makes you change your bet. Makes you change, oh, I really think this green one's gonna win the whole thing. I don't know, that crazy camel's up, it might come up, I'm not sure it's gonna happen, or that crazy camel is actually underneath the green one, so that camel comes up first next round, it's gonna take it backwards. I don't know if I wanna bet on them quite yet. It gives just enough of a little wrinkle to add just enough more fun decisions to make. Again, they don't really change every game, but when they do, it just adds more fun. And because of those two, now there was some things for old, some things for new, but when it comes down to it, the gameplay, the pop-up, the way it looks with the palm tree, those crazy camels and the betting partnerships alone makes me think and absolutely know for sure that this new version is definitely better than the old version. So if you're looking for a fun family game, Camel Up is it. If you don't have either, I think it's a no-brainer. Go with the new version, and that is Camel Up, and that one is from Eggert Spiel. Upgrade your gaming experience with Game Toppers, and until the end of the year, with the huge Christmas sale, get 15 to 20% off accessories, thematic mats, storage bags, and rail bundles while supplies last at GameToppersLLC.com.